My name is Dr. Abyss. Everything you see or hear here must remain here. If these words have reached you, it means the impossible has happened. It means we have failed. I had a moment to update my journal. But how do you translate the unspeakable? The last few days have been a succession of events that defy sanity. I saw a god bleed. I saw time shatter like broken glass. I saw the birth of something that should not exist. Something worse. We are in the belly of a monster. The Black Cathedral. A grotesque fusion of stone and metal that defies every known law of physics. It floats in the void like a forgotten tomb of the old gods, a Gothic delirium carved into the carcass of a dead world. Created by Amon, the first, the one we believed extinct, a shadow buried in the past. But he lives, and he has escaped. He took the monolith and its priest with him. Osiris is dead, annihilated by the hands of Anubis and Set, who believe they have won. Poor fools. They have no idea what they have unleashed. The balance that upheld our fragile reality has been broken. And now, something is stirring in the fractures of time and space. Something that Amon understands better than all of us. We survived, but I don't know if that is a comfort. Myself, Celeste Aurea, General Alex Gray, and the remaining humans from the ship's Purple Lagoon, Red Dragon, and Gigantia. Remnants of a world consumed by fire. Survived for what? To crawl like rats through the sewers of a ship that breathes, writhes, and reshapes itself at will? To be hunted by something we cannot even comprehend? Fate placed us at the epicenter of the collapse when the planet turned to ashes. Now we are intruders in this floating fortress, hiding in its depths as the shadows move around us. And something, I don't know what, is watching us. Imagine a colossal abomination, a nightmare of black iron and ancient stone suspended in the absolute void. The Black Cathedral was not built, it was conceived, like a tumor growing in the flesh of the universe. Its corridors twist at impossible angles, its towers rise like deformed bones against the stellar horizon. There is no logic in its architecture, only an oppressive sense of grandeur, as if the ship had been carved from the remains of a forgotten world. Arches stretch beyond sight, supporting colossal columns covered in inscriptions lost to time. Twisted sculptures of beings that should never have existed adorn the walls, their empty eyes seeming to follow our movements. The floor is a mosaic of metal and living stone, pulsing with an unsettling energy. The air inside the cathedral is heavy, laden with an almost imperceptible hum, a low frequency that vibrates within the bones, as if the ship itself were whispering secrets we were never meant to hear. But the most disturbing thing is the feeling that it senses us. The Black Cathedral is not just a place. It is alive. Inside, space folds in on itself. No room stays in the same place for long. Hallways stretch and contract. Doors appear where there were once smooth walls. Passages seal shut without warning, swallowing into oblivion those who lose themselves in its depths. We have taken refuge in the lower structures, in the sewers of the cathedral, a labyrinth of damp corridors and forgotten passageways where the ship seems to rebuild itself endlessly, like a wound that never heals. Here, the darkness is nearly absolute, broken only by the faint blue lights flickering on the vaulted ceiling like dying eyes. Cracks in the floor reveal a sickly red glow, something pulsing beneath, deep below. Are we alone? Every sound echoes through the metallic corridors like a distorted scream. Every breath seems too loud. The cathedral keeps us here because it wants to. And if it wanted to erase us, we would have ceased to exist already. The Black Cathedral never sleeps. Its Gothic corridors stretch in impossible directions, spiraling staircases leading to nothing, hidden passages that vanish as quickly as they appear. Every wall is adorned with alien gargoyles, their open mouths twisted into grotesque shapes that seem to shift in the dim light. Gigantic columns rise like the ribs of an ancient beast, supporting ceilings so high they are lost in the darkness. But here, in the underground, the cathedral is something different. Less a structure and more an organism. The floor is metallic and damp, covered in veins of a dark liquid that slithers like coagulated blood. The air reeks of rust and something deeper, something biological, like burnt flesh mixed with ozone. The only sound is our racing hearts. Then it stops. The click. The wet, slithering sound. Celeste grips my arm, her trembling breath against my ear. Stay absolutely still. I look up. Something moves across the vaulted ceiling. It crawls, graceful as a spider, its limbs bending unnaturally. Nixarax, Amon's assassin. The biotech android glides along the beams, its body a shifting black polymer that morphs as it moves. Thin tendrils emerge from its back, coiling around columns, propelling it forward in eerie silence. Its face is pale, expressionless, but its eyes, three glowing red spheres, scan the environment with mechanical precision. It doesn't see us. Yet. I stop breathing. My entire body locks in place. If it finds us, there will be no fight. There will only be death. For long seconds, only the distant sounds of the cathedral shifting around us. Then, Nixarax slips into a narrow corridor and vanishes into the dark. Silence. But something is wrong. Before we can move, another sound, different from the first. A low hiss, like gas escaping a pressurized pipe. Then heavy mechanical footsteps. Clumsy. Uneven. Celeste shoots me a panicked glance. It wasn't just Nixarax. A second figure emerges from the same corridor where the assassin disappeared. But this time, it is not a perfect shadow. Not an elegant predator. It is a prototype. The model that came before Nixarax. The biotechnological structure is still unfinished, or perhaps damaged by time. Its body is stiffer, more mechanical, with exposed metal plates and pulsating wires visible beneath incomplete synthetic skin. Its movements are jerky, unsteady, as if struggling to remain upright. A primitive war exoskeleton, with elongated limbs and retractable blades in place of fingers. But its eyes see, and it detects us. Before we can react, it lunges. Its movements are erratic, too fast for something so heavy. In an instant, it's upon us, razor-sharp claws descending like guillotine blades. But before it can strike, General Gray moves. He doesn't hesitate. Gray is a killer, a soldier forged by war and instinct. He advances without a sound, a deadly shadow in the dim light. In his hand, a short black blade, a dagger designed to kill without a whisper. The prototype tries to react, but it's already too late. With perfect precision, Gray ducks low and drives the blade beneath the android's thoracic joint, striking something vital. The biotechnological body convulses violently, its circuits flickering in short circuit, its movements turning erratic, spasmodic. But we cannot make noise. With chilling efficiency, Gray wraps his arm around the android's neck, twisting its body and applying a lethal snap. A low crack. A final tremor. The machine dies without ever having the chance to scream. Gray holds the exoskeleton's corpse for a few seconds, listening for any other sound in the darkness. Nothing. He releases the body onto the metallic floor, where it slowly dissolves, almost as if the cathedral is reclaiming its failed creation. We take a deep breath. But we are not safe yet. Celeste steps closer, her eyes still wide. That was too much luck. Gray wipes the sweat from his forehead. We can't count on luck again. No one moves for long seconds. The silence around us is dense, suffocating. The only thing we hear is the frantic pounding inside our own skulls. The lifeless body of the prototype android has already been absorbed by the Black Cathedral, as if it had never existed. But its memory lingers, soaked into the metallic, damp air of the sewers. Celeste runs a hand over her face, trying to steady the tremor in her fingers. We need to get out of here. Gray nods, still gripping the bloodstained blade. When this thing lands, we find a way to escape. There is no other choice. Escape. The word echoes in my mind like an illusion, a formless concept. To where? What world could we possibly flee to if the universe itself may already be doomed? Someone from the group, one of the surviving scientists from Gigantia, steps forward, their voice heavy with desperation. But where do we go? If Amon has escaped, where is he going? Celeste hesitates. So do I. She wants to answer, wants to give them hope. But the truth is, none of us know. Then something in the distance catches my eye. Through one of the cathedral's narrow windows, I see the infinite void outside, a black ocean where nothing should exist. But something is there. A blotch of light, a distant and impossible glow. A planet. But not just any planet. Humanity's records have never mentioned a world in this sector. No star map charts it. No fleet vessel has ever registered it. It simply should not exist. And yet, there it is, shining like a beacon in the dark. The Black Cathedral is heading straight for it. A chill crawls up my spine. What is hidden on that forsaken world that calls to Amon? What is he planning? Does he ignore us because we are no threat, or because it is not yet time to destroy us? And above all, if Amon is going there, doesn't that mean we should do the opposite? Or perhaps we should stop him? My fingers press against the cold metal of the window. My eyes remain locked on that distant glow. The question echoes once more in my mind, as it has since the beginning of all this. What are we doing here? Science has taught me that curiosity is both our greatest virtue and our deadliest poison. The urge to understand has driven us to touch the skies and to forge the weapons that have wiped out civilizations. As I gaze upon that unknown planet, I feel the weight of the dilemma I have carried since this journey began. If we move forward, if we follow this path, are we approaching salvation? Or are we simply digging deeper into our own ruin? I don't know, but the answer waits for us on that forgotten world, and we have no choice but to find it.